The last couple of days has been quite the emotional roller coaster. Let me take you back. I'll start it about 3 weeks ago when I received a notification from the Keiko to submit my experience requirements for either CCA or lead CCA. I promptly submitted my application for lead CMMC certified assessor. Over the past week or so, I've been noticing people who have been notified that they have been approved for lead CCA. I was just patiently awaiting that notification that I was approved. Friday, I woke up around my normal time, 5 a.m., started my morning routine. And just as I finished up around 5:30, I received the email that I had been anxiously awaiting from the Keiko, and the subject line said lead CCA requirements submission status notification. Yeah, it's finally arrived, the moment I've been anxiously awaiting for. I opened the email with great anticipation that I was going to receive some good news, but unfortunately, as I started reading the email, I saw the phrase that I did not anticipate and dreaded. It said that my lead CCA request was denied due to insufficient documentation and assessment experience in my resume. Needless to say, I was extremely shocked. Like, what? What do you mean I have insufficient documentation and assessment experience? Now, I went further on to read, and to the Keiko's credit, they specifically stated what was missing from the application and resume that I submitted, essentially outlining that I was missing the 3 years of documented audit or assessment experience. Still, I was in shock because I've been working in cybersecurity for over 22 years now, and for the past 10 plus years has been dedicated to audit and assessments. And not to mention, I'm the founder and president of Aspire Cyber, which specializes in CMMC assessments. I was like, wow, if I don't have the experience, who does? So I was still very perplexed. Like, what am I missing? Then it dawned on me, what resume did I submit for the lead CCA application? That's when I realized, whoa, wait a minute. I think I know the problem. I opened up the resume that I submitted for the lead CCA, and lo and behold, it was a very high level resume that just ultimately listed the positions that I've held over the past 22 plus years. And apparently, the Cyber AB QA team needs more details than that. That was not sufficient. At that point, I had some level of assurance that, okay, they want more details. They want to know exactly what I've been doing in these various cybersecurity roles throughout my career. Not a problem. I do have a detailed resume, which is the one that I used to submit when I was applying for jobs. But being an entrepreneur, you don't really need a resume anymore outside of testimonials from your customers. So I promptly reviewed my detailed resume, adding any additional experience needed to clearly demonstrate that I have 3+ years of audit and assessment experience. Ultimately, I needed to connect the dots for the Keiko so that there was no dispute that Derek Phillips is qualified to be a lead CCA. He has extensive audit and assessment experience. So within the email, it mentioned if I needed to submit additional information, to submit that to Mike Snyder, the Cyber AB Director of Training and Credentialing. Within an hour of receiving that email, had an updated resume, very detailed, outlining my experience, and I promptly submitted that updated resume to Mike Snyder. And then I waited and waited. Actually, it wasn't that long of a wait. So within a couple hours, Mike did respond back, confirming that my lead CCA review and validation were complete, and an invoice for final approval would be sent later that day on Friday. So woohoo! Crisis avoided. So with that confirmation, I still was anxiously awaiting to finally receive that invoice that at this point I've been waiting weeks for. So that invoice is $100 that you have to pay for the lead CCA, and couldn't wait to pay that money. So all day on Friday, I'm checking my emails, no invoice email. And I made myself a promise at 6 p.m. that I no longer was going to check my email anymore. So that last check at 5:59 p.m., still no invoice email for the lead CCA. So I wasn't really worried. I realized that it may come on Monday. So on Saturday morning, I'm cleaning out my inbox, And typically with junk email, I just delete all of the junk emails. Rarely do I check it. However, something told me to check my junk email before deleting them all. I had over 400 junk emails unread. And long and behold, once I opened up my junk email, I saw 2 emails from the Keiko containing the invoice. The first one came on Friday around 3 p.m. And then the second one came on Saturday morning, which was a reminder for me to pay that lead CCA invoice. So that just added to the saga. What a wild and crazy emotional roller coaster that I experienced over the past couple of days. But I am thrilled to report that this story has a happy ending, and you are looking at an official lead CCA. Invoice is paid. I think the only outstanding step is for me to complete the Delta training for all of the new updates in the CMMC program final rule. And hopefully I will have the opportunity to take it sometime this week. And we'll be off to the races, performing CMMC level 2 certification assessment, serving on the assessment teams under a C3PO. I wanted to share that news with you, the story. And fortunately, this one does have a good ending. And if you have any questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me if you're trying to submit your application. Probably the most ironic thing about this story is roughly 2 weeks ago, after I had already submitted my experience application for lead CCA, myself and Laura Hellman, she's a member of the CMMC Professionals Network, her and I recorded a workshop where we walked you through the steps of submitting your experience requirements for lead CCA and CCA. And in that interview, Laura emphasized the importance of having a detailed resume and clearly outlining your experience that satisfies the lead CCA and CCA requirements. However, again, at that point, I had already submitted my experience requirements, so I didn't get to fully follow Laura's advice. Highly encourage you to check out that video because it provides you detailed steps on how to submit a successful lead CCA and CCA experience application to make sure that you connect the dots for the Cyber being showing that you could meet the experience requirements. So don't do what I did and just submit a abbreviated high-level resume thinking that the titles will be sufficient. You actually need to detail exactly what you did in those roles and how it satisfies the experience requirements for lead CCA and CCA. So big shout out to Laura Hellman for sharing that invaluable advice that I had to learn the hard way. But thank you all for tuning in, checking out my story. So best wishes to all of you that are submitting your experience requirements or on the journey to completing a CCP, CCA, join the CMMC Professionals Network. We're here to support you every step along your journey. Till next time, I'm out.